I now usually throw 300-400 at my mom as a monthly allowance. Doesn't blink an eye. When I had no job for about 6 months, I still give 100. That counted to her. I get like a nice sit down, thank you, I know you're suffering, but I appreciate the fact that this is it. So in what mathematical sense is $500 less than $100?
Why do you have to express it with a token of monetary token?
I think it's just old-timey people not very well aware of like the inner mental health, how to deal with emotions.
Then I think all the more you should try to teach them that, right?
Old dogs don't learn new tricks.
Talk
Yeah.
to them about it.
Yeah.
As in,
Not every parent can. Okay, I would say this is a way to say it. Cash is a universal currency, right? It's hard for you to tell people that you love them in certain ways. But money goes, money talks, money walks. Everything's great. I think it might be a cop-out for some people to just be like, okay, I accept your money as love. And they just don't want to go and deal with the fact that they're emotionally stunted. But it's very hard to go and explain that to your parents. Be like, yeah, me being here means I love you too.
I guess this is the part where we talk about setting boundaries in financial arrangements. This is the part, right?
Yeah, I feel to his point of like, he said even if he give $3, his mom will be happy. I'm sure she has a certain expectations. Every time I give you $10, she'll be like, you give me the $10 for what, right? Like $10.
No, I feel that it is a bit sad to think of that monetary token as an expression of love, despite you saying that you don't put any value to it. It's just a but I feel like at the end of the day there is that value. Like you are pinning how much you love to how much money you give.
Okay,
to your
I can
parents.
give you an experience of, I now usually throw maybe like 300-400 at my mom as a monthly allowance. Doesn't blink an eye. When I had no job for about 6 months, I still give 100. That counted to her. That was important to her. I get like a nice sit down, thank you, I know you're suffering, but I appreciate the fact that this is it. So in what mathematical sense is $500 less than $100?
I mean, she can tell you I don't need the 100 what.
Yeah, no, that's the point. If she don't need the 100, she's counting the money. Right? Because the 100 cannot do anything. I earn more than you. Why you give me 100 for? You got no money, go and save money. That's counting the value. But she's acknowledging the fact that even though you don't have, you're giving something.
Then to be honest, right, to be very, very frank, like 100% honest, if I were her, right, I would appreciate the gesture, but take it back. That would be what I would do.
Yeah. No, as in pragmatically speaking, yes, the correct thing is poor men get money, stop doing stupid, right? But the logic here is that what I'm trying to say is the previous generation does a weird thing where they are emotionally stunted is the best way I can explain this, where the money has no value. They just expect certain amount of money because, I mean, different families, different people. Okay, some really want to like be a specific number for some reason. I don't know. But from my personal experience, is the fact that the money came from you. Like in all your whole planning and things, you got think about me.
Yeah, but in my perspective, it's like, why does it have to be money?
Yeah.
When I explained it to my parents, when I had that difficult talk with my mom, right, I was telling her that I treat other things with greater value and importance instead of money.
Correct.
So like I mentioned earlier, I feel that time spent is very important. Having a very good relationship constantly, even when I move out, I will constantly come back to, have dinner with you. I'll bring you out for dinners. I'll treat you to meals. Why does it have to be that every month I have to give you a certain amount of money? Why can't I express my love and affection for you in a different way?
Here's a metaphor I have to fix this specific situation. Let's say you have a friend. It's a best friend. Okay, your best friend, birthday coming up. You want to buy a gift, right? Let's not talk about the fact that now we're all smart. We just give money, let them go and settle themselves. Like you have to buy an item. Okay, the clown's in a wheelchair, but you think that best gifts are like nice branded shoes. That's kind of how it works because the receiver should.
As in, so the receiver thinks that money is how you should be.
Correct.
Expressed. So you just give the money because that is how they.
Correct.
Yeah, but then the thing is that then it comes with the conflict where you yourself don't believe that is how you should express love. So you conform to how the person expresses as in, it's a two-way thing, right? So if I feel that.
So I'm saying that it's entirely fine, right? The way why people should be comfortable with it is because the person receiving it is perceiving that thing as love. Right. It may be wrong to some people.
They feel like a conflict of love languages.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It essentially is. Because it's, I don't know, I have never met previous generations, right, who can easily be like, okay, let's have a conversation with actually somebody who's younger, who has our thoughts like time is more valuable than money. You can earn money, cannot earn time. And I just want to spend my time with you. So that's infinitely more valuable and more love. But I've never been able to convince / see somebody else convince the eldest generation that is a thing that they want to receive, because they cannot spend the time with you elsewhere. I don't know how they think, like, honestly speaking, but most of them will like come to their senses when they're in the deathbeds. They realize that I should spend more time with the kids. I mean, too bad and regret. Yeah,
I think it's how do I say? You say they want to receive love, right? The way they wanted to. So I actually told my mom before also, like the love languages thing lah. Like, so for me, sometimes when I go out, then I see a lipstick, I feel like, oh, I thought of my mom. Then I went to choose a shade for her. And then I go back home. So I believe my mom is not a gift person. So she doesn't appreciate it at all. She'll like, why you anyhow spend your money? That kind of thing lah. But I did sit down and talk to her. I said, like, to me, like, this gesture is me showing love. Like, I put thought behind choosing the gift. It's the same thing as buying your friend's birthday gift, right? Like, giving money is very easy. But to me, what's more meaningful is my friend actually putting in the thought to get something for me. Doesn't need to be expensive, but like when she tell me, oh, I got this because you mentioned blah blah blah, or because I think you need this. Like, I'll feel more touched than you giving me money, although I can use this money to go and buy things that I actually want.
Correct. So now we just trade the position of things, right? What she actually wants is money, right? What you are giving is time. It's the same thing of, instead of giving the actual gift, you give money. It's an alternative.
That's why I think having the conversation, despite it being difficult, is extremely important. Because for me, that conversation, right, was very emotional. Yeah, it was a very emotional conversation, but it had to happen. I think after explaining to her, despite, maybe she thinks that getting money is a form of filial piety and love, but because I explained it to her, she now understands that, okay, we have different thinking. In that case, like, I'm fine with, you come and spend time with me and all that. I'm okay with it. It's okay. I get your point. I don't need to have this sum of money every month. So we came to that conclusion where now we are on extremely good terms now. We are back to good terms, and she understands my point. I understand where she's also coming from. Issue settled.
But I think it's quite interesting. I like, from just surface level, there's 3 different SES. I would say the high SES, the middle, and the low. And the way that we go about that conversation, right, I think your conclusion to it is a privileged conclusion. Because if you were to have that conversation at my SES level, that is just utterly disrespectful, right? And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that it's not really whether or not the 钱 is important or the 钱多少. I also feel that if your parents has been financially savvy, right, this is a lesson or like a weird ritual that they want you to do. And it becomes significantly more important because they are afraid that if you don't get into the habit of giving, that when they old and see now, you just throw them in the roadside. Don't even have a nursing home, So this is like their, like, 晚上睡安 lah, that safety to think that, okay, like, my child has this habit to give me money when I don't remember really, they will still remember to take care of me.
I have a question for the both of you. So, actually, especially for you, because you have been constantly on the side of, okay, need to give, right? Need to give the money. Would you expect the same from your kids then?
Yes.
Okay. Even if you are financially savvy?
Yes.
So to you also, giving money is a form of love?
No.
Then why do you ask money from them?
Ritualistic practice.
Why not get rid of this practice?
Because the money that I get from my children will go to the grandchildren.
But if they can keep their money and
nobody
grow
is
their
ever
own
said
money?
about, if you today you take your clothes, go and wash, tomorrow you find $5. It's never going to be a thing. Because I believe that with the lessons we've learned so far, we should have an open communication channel with our kids and be understanding about it. right? So if that communication channel can let them understand that I don't need the money, right? I think that there are many ways and love languages that everyone can explore. And just because you don't agree with it doesn't mean you have to reject it. Because if the other person accepts that love language and you want to show love, don't force your love on them, just take their love. I think that's important to teach my kids lah, that 你不要去 like 我的 love language, that's how I show love. If you don't accept it, it's a skill difference. Skill diff, you lousy. That's the danger that I have seen based on this specific conversation.
But you wanting the money from them isn't you practicing it. I mean, if they don't believe in giving money as a form of showing love,
then why would you?
No, the lesson here is I don't believe in it also, right? But the lesson here is that there are many love languages for people out there, right? It is a life skill for you to learn the fact that you don't only love the people that accepts you. Sometimes other people are different, but they're still worth loving for reasons, and you need to be able to be like, okay, yes, this is not how I show love, but I know by doing this, you would appreciate me because you think that's how I show love to you.
So to you, them giving money to you is them showing love.
Yeah, just a ritualistic practice.
So if they give you money but they don't spend any time with you, you think they love you?
No, that would never... Okay, so if they don't spend time with me, we would not have that conversation of you need to give me money.
No, as in while you are still living together, when they started working,
yep.
you wanted them to have the practice of...
No, I want them to spend time with me. Once we get that into the ritualistic practice of they know that it is not either or, it's both, then I'll start demanding money.
But I think that if I were your child, right, I would feel very pressured by you because I feel that I have to meet this, like, okay, I have to give money and then I have to give my time also, and then like, and it is expected of me to do it. And if I don't do it, then you're going to throw a fit. I would feel that pressure. If I were your kid, to be very blunt lah, I would feel very aggrieved. I feel that this might actually push me away from you.
Correct.
Rather than foster a closer relationship that you hoped you would teach them, this kind of lesson. It might not actually turn out the way you want it to be.
So the old man in me says that these are the principles. It is my job from now until I eventually become old when that situation arises, that I learn enough parenting skills that you don't feel like that's an obligation. I would still internally want that to happen, right? That is my expectation for my future paradigm. But when the push comes to shove, and if I am expecting and they don't give, I can acknowledge at age 50 that I failed as a parent. I will just live with that consequence. But in that ideal now that I'm still here and I'm planning for the future, I would expect them to both spend time, spend money. It's like target setting goals, or like you want to have $1 million by the end of however many years you want to start saving money. That is a plan, right? I will want those things to happen because I think on principle it is good. That is my beliefs. And I'm trying to build towards a future in which the kids do not feel like, my money is better served with me. You get what I'm trying to say?
I feel like if you keep having this, as you say, old man mindset, the sandwich generation won't end with us.
No, correct. So the thing is that the previous generation doesn't explain why they think what they want has to be money. Like, to me, I'm going to explain. I don't care if you earn 4K or whatever, just give me something, right? So that I know that you understand what I'm trying to explain here.
I think maybe also it's I mean, you described yourself as more on the millennial side.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we think differently. Because for me,
I am also on the millennial side.
But you're younger than him, right?
Way.
Yeah, so I think that my generation onwards might not take too kindly or might not be too accepting of such traditional thoughts or thinking or customs lah.
I am also in a camp of non-commitment. Never mind. I am also on the camp of non-commitment, and that in itself is a locked-in commitment in which you're expected to pay up. I understand why that is a hyper unattractive premise.
I don't know. I think for my generation, right, we are trying to change things. So a lot of this kind of traditional I mean, one thing that comes to mind would be maybe weddings, dowry, for example. Like, I think that it is the stupidest concept to
I also
have
agree.
in the 21st century. But there are some people who still practice it, and they still intend to keep on having this kind of practice. But to me, it's like, if it's not needed, why continue with it? So same, bringing it back to the topic that we are talking about today, which is about giving money to your parents. It's something that's very entrenched. Like you mentioned, it's like a ritual. Why continue with the ritual if it's not going to really serve any purpose in the end?
I think in the grand scheme of things, if you just look at it for what it's worth, right? It's just parents wanting to ensure that they have some form of control over the kids. Because you can end in a situation where the kids don't love you. They don't want to spend time, don't want to spend money. But because you kena tau, at least when you cry alone at night, your kids have given you money. And you can say, like, in the ideal situation, your kids should love you enough that they want to give you both time and money. But there are situations when people fail at parenting, right? And the world is what it is. I'm uber pessimistic because of life experiences and stuff. It happens. That is what it is.
Yeah, the best solution is just don't expect the money.
Yeah.
Just fend for yourself, plan to die at 80. Easiest.
Just be self-sufficient, I guess. Like, just handle yourself properly.
Yeah. I don't need my son to must support me because you are my son. No lah. Don't have that old mindset.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
So, okay, this is just the end question. So, let's say it now costs $1 million to have the kid. Do you not feel the loss?
Why would I? I chose to have the kid. Yeah. I chose to have the kid knowing that I'm going to spend $1 million. So why would I be affected by it?
Do you have differing comments?
No, same. As in, if I already know that I have to spend 1 million on it, and if I still decide to go ahead with it, then why regret? It's
not regret lah. It's like there's an opportunity to 掏回来嘛，我不要 claw back 这样啦。But I guess lah. I mean, it's a human life. It's not, you're not buying a pet lah. So
it's not an investment.
It's not an investment.
It's not an
correct.
investment. So you need to have the mindset of knowing that when you have a child, you shouldn't treat. I think that it is right to not treat your child as an investment. Yeah, that's just important lah. I think when you decide to have one.
The weird way that I've rationalized it in my mind is I'm buying a best friend for 20 years. Because that kid's going to idolize you unless you're some crap hole or you go and buy cigarettes and milk and never come back. But that kid is going to like you. That kid is going to enjoy the time that you spend with the kid. The kid's going to remember core memories of spending time with you. That's what your 1 million is for. That is for the experience. Now we're very good, right? Like to buy money, go nice places, experience. That's the golden experience of humanity in itself. And you cannot be like, okay, now invest 1 million. By the time he's like, I'm 60, I should claw back 500,000. Please don't. Right? For the time span and for the ability for you to learn parenting skills, life skills, grow as a person. That's what that money is for. And I think sensationalized headline says that it costs $1 million to grow a kid or raise a kid doesn't really put into perspective the true value of what it is. So don't go and give your kids unrealistic expectations, right? Treat them as how you would like to be treated as a kid, as a child, as a young adult, as a growing adult, as an elder in the future.
As in, to put an end to whatever sandwich generation that we are in, I think you should think first, why do you want to have this kid?
Yes.
What's the purpose of you having the kid?
Baby bonus.
If it is investment, then I think twice.
Correct.
Because you may not get back.
Your
ROI might not be high.
Yeah, zero. I mean, zero ratio be like, nah, bro, you earn way more than me, pa. Just forget it. Yeah, and I think, with all that in mind, societal norms will exist, but we will try to change them in however we have, and we've explored many ways that we have attempted to change them to make it slightly better for the generations ahead. I hope that in the future, the generations will face different kinds of problems. Confirm, every generation got a problem, but it won't be the problems that we're suffering with now, which is expectations, mismatch of understanding of love languages, and weird societal norms that we don't understand the reasons to anymore. Hopefully in the future, the kids will have things explained to them so that they'll understand. If not, thank you so much, Chloe, for joining us today. Until next time, my name is Ian.
I'm Shuen.
And I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Bye-bye!
Bye.